The Guilford Press, in association with Riverside Digital Productions, presents Social Justice in Schools, a Framework for Equity in Education by Charles A. Barrett, with a foreword by Ivory A. Tolson, narrated by Charles A. Barrett. Additional voice, Moses Hyman. Published by the Guilford Press, a division of Guilford Publications Incorporated. Copyright 2023. Publisher's Note: Thank you for purchasing this Guilford Press audiobook. This title has supplemental material which includes figures and tables referenced in this audiobook, as well as the table of contents, discussion questions, resources for professional learning, appendices, and references, among other resources. To download the PDF, go to the following URL: www.guilford.com/Barrett-audiobook.
Forward. Social Justice in Schools. Setbacks and Setups. The setback. Anti-CRT legislations. When I was an 11th grader, I felt immense discomfort when my U.S. history teacher taught us that slavery was a system of a different time, and many enslaved people, slaves in her words, had good relationships with their slave masters. Her lesson caused me so much angst that I became combative. Because of my confrontational behavior, the teacher sent me to the principal's office to be disciplined. I was humiliated and ashamed that I had been disruptive in class, but I was also angry. My parents instilled in me a love for learning and a respect for educators. They also taught me to be proud of my Black heritage. So when my history teacher minimized the experiences of my enslaved ancestors, I could not stay silent. However, these intense feelings of discomfort among students of color are ignored in the recent spate of anti-critical race theory, CRT bills, aimed at protecting white people from feeling discomfort about the atrocities of some of their ancestors. Like most African Americans, I can trace my lineage back to the same racist enslavers whose crimes many lawmakers are trying to minimize through anti-CRT legislation. My great-great-great-grandfather was a white enslaver in Kentucky who raped an enslaved African woman on his plantation. She gave birth to my great-great-grandfather, Granderson Kahn. Kahn's white half-siblings taught him to read after his enslaver father moved his children, including those conceived of rape, to North Louisiana. Kahn became free as a young adult and volunteered to fight for the Union Army in the Civil War. After the war, he returned to Louisiana and had a daughter, my great-grandmother, who had a son named John Henry Scott, my grandfather. My grandfather became a civil rights activist and father to many children, including my mother, civil rights activist Janita Scott. School should be a place where we can examine our past and pave the way for a more just future. However, the recent trend of anti-CRT legislation is a step backward. But as my story shows, African Americans have been living with the consequences of slavery and racism since its inception. We cannot move forward if we do not deal with the harsh realities of our past. Charles A. Barrett's Social Justice in Schools, a Framework for Equity in Education, can help educators see the importance of social justice in schools and the need to prepare all students for a more just future. The setup: social justice in schools. Education is at the heart of social justice, and nowhere is this more evident than in our schools. Over the years, classrooms have become increasingly diverse, and educators have been tasked with creating a learning environment that promotes equity and inclusion for all students. As a result, we have seen a steady rise in initiatives and programs designed to ensure that everyone receives an equitable education. This book provides teachers, administrators, parents, and other stakeholders with an invaluable resource that outlines specific steps they can take to promote social justice within their school environment. It focuses on challenging systems of privilege and implicit bias while empowering families through educational initiatives. The book also encourages educators to form a professional identity that reflects the values
Sample complete. Ready to continue?